right, guys, welcome to the channel. It's boy, and I appreciate that you're here with me today. We have the Nissan Navara here, and for those that have been on the channel long enough, around I think 2022, we've already covered the single cab Navara. We've covered the double cab as well, which was the Pro 2X at the time, meaning it was a 4x2. This one is the special edition. In this case, it's the Nissan Navara Stealth. What you'll see here is what Nissan is doing here is the same as Ford. I think they do add FX4 sometimes in South Africa, and you'll see it Isuzu as well. They add like your X-Rider. This is what is happening. It's based on one of the models in the lineup, and then they add some body kits like stuff here and there, which we'll talk about when I turn the camera. So this Stealth variant has been there before, even with the previous. It's not the previous generation, right? The pre-facelift one in this case, it has been there. But right now, you'll see that there's some stuff that they've added that I like because they didn't overdo it, especially with the decals. Because when it comes to the decals, those that know on the channel, it's not the biggest thing that we love out here, but it's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of people that love that on their buggies and cars and so on and so on. Listen, I'm going to turn the camera around so that we can talk about what is it that it is adding on this vehicle compared to the one that it's based on. It's the LE variant that they've used to actually spec this one out. Without further ado, let's turn this camera around. Let's go. So here's the key. It's a small one for a big vehicle like this. Nothing much has changed. It's still the Navara key. Lock and unlock. Doesn't have anything else. This one is not a button. It's just a blank. And when you look at it right here, you'll see the changes that have happened. If you look at the LE variant, it comes with the chrome spec when it comes to the grille, and also the mirrors are body color and so on. This one is blacked out because it's a Stealth. What I've seen is that it has taken a little bit from the Pros, Pro 2X, Pro 4X, and they've added some other stuff as well that you won't find there, but you can get as accessories. So basically they've added accessories on the LE. When you look at the rims, you'll see that they're similar to those ones from the Pros, blacked out as well. The difference is that the Pros have the red lettering in terms of the badge. They have by Nissan badge. This one is actually white. The mirrors as well, they are blacked out. When you look at the roof racks, blacked out as well. And then when you come to the front, that's where you'll see as well that it's different from the LE, because the LE has that opening here on top of the grille. But here you just see the Navara lettering, which is similar as well to the Pro 2X and Pro 4X, the blacked out grille as well. The difference is that once again on the grille, you will see that this one has a white lettering and around the badge as well. That's something that you'll see. It's red on the Pros. That's the difference right there. And one thing that you'll see in front right here is that they've added this nudge bar, bull bar. You call it, I think Nissan calls it nudge bar in this case. Plastic here, steel here. It's quite solid. But from visual perspective, when I look at it, I think here it's acceptable for me because I've seen a lot of Nissan owners adding this on their specs, especially on the Pro 2X and 4X. It looks a little bit too much for me. And the reason, I've been asking myself, what's different about this? Why am I okay with it or warming up with it when it comes to this one? I think it's because on the Pro 2X and 4X, they have this cladding on the wheel arches here. You will see them. I'll find one and then put it on the video right here so that you can see what's the difference in this case. Then when you spec it with this, because now there's like a lot of plastic bits that are appearing on the side of the back and so on, I feel like, man, there's just too much plastic around the back. And from that perspective, visually, yeah, I'll keep the Pro 4X and I wouldn't spec it with this. Not that I'm mad at you guys who are owning it, but yeah, that's just my preference in this case. Let's go around to the back. So this comes standard with all-terrain tires in this case, 80/25, Dunlop, Grand Trek, 255/65 R17, and that's what you get out here. You will see that you get the Stealth lettering on the side as well. I like that because they haven't done it overly too much, because the previous ones, they had some decal here, and then there was some decal on the load bay as well, together with the Stealth lettering and so on. So I think this one is fine. When I look at this, the side step, whatever you call this, again, it comes standard with Stealth as well. And let's go to the back. The Navara lettering, you'll see that here, the Navara lettering is blacked out. That's another way to see the Stealth, but it's written as well. This one is a 4x4. You can also get it as a 4x2 in this case. Then you also get this sport bar that is also has Stealth lettering embedded in there. I think overall that's what you get when it comes to the looks. We will jump inside to see then what's the story. All right, let's jump inside and see what is it that you get with the Stealth. Yep, you do get the leather seats and they look actually very good. They look very good. I don't need to talk about this. You know what is this, the cup holders. And then here at the back, of course, you will see that you get the vents as well. Type A USB port right there. And that's what you get at the back. There's nothing much that I need to say about that. Coming to the front, oh, you get the blacked out handles as well. The mirrors, I spoke about this as well. I think I did, right? I did speak about that. Then when you look at it, why are you locking? Why are you locking? Okay. Then when you look at it here, you'll see the panel hard here and then soft here. That's what you get out here. And then inside, man, hey, these seats, man, are nice, man. The quilting and all this stuff. Yeah, no, otherwise you do get electric seats with lumbar support for the driver in this case. And then on the passenger side, it's manual in this case. And when I look at it, you see this part, I'm happy with it. I'm just happy with it because it looks so good. I love the Nissan steering wheel, by the way. That's why. Maybe it's the badge as well, the way it's rounding it up. So from that, I'm okay with it. Even with this analog cluster, it comes with the gauges and so on. I'm okay with that. But the moment I go this side, I look at the screen, the buttons, I look at that bit of the dash as well, coming down here with the gear lever, and I'm like, nah, man, Nissan, we need to talk about this when it comes to the design and everything else, especially because bakkies these days, like lifestyle bakkies and not just about the hardcore stuff. I understand for those that love the hardcore stuff, they don't even mind this kind of stuff. But hey, there's a lot of people that are buying this for lifestyle. Oh, one thing I will indicate is that in the Pro 2X and 4X, this is for opening that window there. And in here, it's a manual window, but I'm glad that you can still open it because sometimes you find that you have long stuff that you want to put in there and you can actually help yourself through passing that window, or you can just open it for ventilation and everything else. With that said, I think we need to hit the road and see what this is all about. Let's go. Okay, we're on the way now and let's start it. You know this button when you're starting it, it's like, you know how we do with music. We'll talk about this music later. Okay, let me take the screen back. By the way, this screen needs a refresh. I think it's LCD, if I can, because now the sun is also facing this way. You may not even be seeing what's happening here. But at least I believe that you're seeing what's happening on this one in the middle of the cluster because it's semi-digital. I love it like this. If there's a vehicle that I would prefer that it comes like this, no matter what tech it has. Otherwise, I was saying this, but when you press it, it's like the car has forgotten that it needs to wake up. Just 2 seconds, I think, then it starts. So just be aware of that when you buy a Nissan. I don't think it's a problem. I've seen it before as well with other vehicles. Otherwise, like I said, this is based on the LE variant, which means it has the 2.5 liter turbocharged diesel engine that is pushing out 140 kilowatts and 450 newton meters of torque. That is everything you need. I said this when I reviewed the Isuzu, and that was the LS 4x4 3.0 liter. It has similar specs in terms of performance figures, power figures rather, and that's something that today we're going to drive on the same road that we did with that vehicle as well and talk more about this one. One thing that this one has that is advantageous is that the suspension at the back is not the typical leaf spring suspension, so the bumpiness might be a little bit different compared to other bakkies. I will talk to that. I think let's rather just get on the road. There is a Land Rover behind me and I am in. Why are you driving like that? Oh, you're turning. Sorry. So sorry. I'm turning in here as well. So, I was still talking about the suspension, but I think we'll talk about it more on the gravel. Right now, this looks like gravel, but it's not, guys. Just some road in the farms and so on. Now, when it comes to this, it's either you get the XE, which is the lower spec, just below 500,000. You can get a double cab for that. That is quite impressive as well in terms of the pricing. I think it's aggressive by Nissan. And then you get the SE variants as well. And those ones now, they're not far off from the XE, but the pricing of course keeps going up. You will choose between the 4x2 and the 4x4s. And to cross the 700,000 mark or rather before that, you get the 2.5 liter turbo diesel, but it's pushing out just about 120 kilowatts, I think 402 Newton meters or 420. I'll just confirm on the screen, but it's not 450. It's not like this one's. Then when you cross the 700,000 rands mark, you will get into the LE variants. Then now you end up getting this one just before the Pro 2X and 4X. One thing that I've realized though, as much as this is based on the LE, it's actually priced lower than the LE variant. I don't know how they've done that because there's more accessories here. And when I looked at it, I think it's starting just below 700,000 at 695,000. And this one, the 4x4, that one is 4x2 that I just spoke to. The 4x4 in this case comes just, I think I don't remember the price, but it's below 780, somewhere there. It's around 780, 785 or something like that. I will put it on the screen as well. The difference then, you'll see that the LE variant, we are on the gravel road now. I just want to finish my point on the prices. The LE variant in this case, the LE Plus 4x4, it's actually more than this in price. Just a few thousand, but it's still more. So I don't know, because it's based on that vehicle. I don't know how they managed to package this and give us this price. It's a great thing because for some reason it's built here in South Africa and we need to be proud of it. I'm going to shift it now to 4H. I know you can do this on the fly, so you don't necessarily have to do it when you're stopped like this. I just needed to make my point. So we are on 4H. It's showing right here that now it has 4-wheel drive mode on, and that means then I think it's 50-50 torque split, 50 on the front axle and the rear axle as well. So in this case I think we are good to go, especially because it was raining. And let me go in there. This gravel, I'm sure right now it's bad because it was raining. So like I said, guys, 140 kilowatts, 450 is all you need in these buckets, because you know some people are actually carrying a lot of stuff. Nice enough, despite this sitting on the coil springs at the back, you find that it still manages to take a load of more than 1 ton. That is impressive, because in other vehicles, when it's spec'd like this, it's carrying around 700, 800. So this one to do 1 ton, I'm actually impressed with that. So this suspension is something that Nissan takes pride in. And when I think about it overall, because it's not on leaf springs, it gives you an advantage of daily driving, or when you're out here you don't feel like it's too bumpy at the back despite not having anything in the load bay. That's something that you find impressive about it. I enjoyed it more on the Pro 2X, and I think the difference that I'm seeing right now, especially after driving the new Fords and so on, is this steering wheel. When you're doing low speed, yeah, you can feel that you have to put more effort to actually turn the steering wheel, and that's something that impacts how I feel for everyday driving, because it's not electric assisted power steering wheel, it's rack and pinion, and because of that, then it means it's sitting on that manual like steering wheel. You need to give it a little bit of an effort, especially when you're driving low speed. But when you are already on the move like this, your problems are minimal, because you can literally feel the feedback from the wheels in this case in terms of what they're doing. That's why that manualness, it's still appreciated, especially when we're talking about a vehicle like this, which is a bakkie. There's a lot to take pride in. The way it sounds, the way it feels. I mean, this thing feels rough. And nice thing about it is that it doesn't feel as rough, especially when you're doing low speed. Like, to push it, it's enough to just, you know, nudge it a little bit and then it's already moving. I like that, because that's why I keep mentioning this 450 Newton meters, because most of these vehicles, or these bakkies rather, they catch quite early when it comes to the torque. So sometimes you find that you have to force some to move, like I said with the Isuzu. But with this one, I feel like it's like just borderline in the middle, where I'm enough for everyday driving. I can actually drive it every day, live with it, not have any issues in terms of how it performs, especially because when you're driving it every day, you find that you're doing low speed more often than you like, unless if you just get onto the highway and then you hit high speed in this case. Hey man, there is a pool of water. It's Is it a paddle? This one is not a paddle. This is a pool. There's a lot of water right in front of us, so this vehicle is going to be so dirty. Oh, should we go through this? Should we go through this? I'm not going to go in the middle, guys. I know it looks nice aesthetically and all these things, but hey, man, I'm not about to do that. I am not about to do that. I'm hoping that it won't be too dirty and we'll just wash the wheels, because you know sometimes you go to the car wash and then the rain starts again and then you have more problems and then. I am not about to do that nice thing that you guys always see when people are creating content and it splashes in the water and so on. Nah, I don't doubt that it will make it. I don't even doubt it a single bit. There's a, what is that car again? VW T-Cross in front of us there. Oh my God, I'm sure these wheels now are like so dirty. Let me get out and see. Oh man. Then I'm gonna come back and find that yes, I'm giving that T-Cross like some space so that it can pass. Oh my God. It's fine. We will do what we need to do when we get back. Wash it. Because it was raining throughout the week. So that's why it's like this. Okay. I'm not even gonna do follow here. I said it when I did the Isuzu as well, that there's no need for that. If the T-Cross can pass here, wherever a T-Cross can pass, there's no need for you to go follow, because this is a 4x4 variant, so you can actually go follow and crawl on these rocks up here. But I don't need that. I don't think it's hectic enough. Imagine if a T-Cross can do that and a Navara can't, we will have a problem as a country, especially because we are taking pride in this bakkie. This is ours. That's it. We are out of it. Okay. So when it comes to nice to haves, guys, it still has Android Auto and CarPlay, I think. I don't do Apple. Some of you know that. I'm on Android, so I never tested it. But I don't even have a cable to connect it. So that means it's not wireless. This gravel is gruesome, but these tires are doing a great job at handling it. And indeed, Nissan should be proud of this suspension. I think they call it 5-link coil suspension because it has like 5 arms, I think, crossing each other at the back, and then the coils as well. So it's actually supportive when it comes to the ride comfort and the quality overall. And when you consider the build quality of this thing, it's actually quite solid, despite having some plastic bits and so on, which are expected in this industry, because this is a bakkie. Just that we have a lot of nice to have bakkies these days, and it makes you question, can I take this as a lifestyle bakkie overall? I think there's a lot to consider depending on what you like. I think there's still a lot of people out there that would rather have a bakkie that is almost plain and bakkish, you know, the way we know bakkies and so on, and that people just sometimes prefer that, and not necessarily these bakkies with plush interiors, soft touch materials everywhere, because it doesn't give them the nostalgia that they got when they grew up, and you can't run away from that. That's why I feel like the lower spec variants of the bakkies are still necessary to give you that, especially for brands like Nissan to give you the same 2.5 liter engine that can almost do everything that the higher specs can do. Because in other bakkies you find that maybe it's detuned, it's this and that. Like this one, of course, I understand that, but 120 kilowatts, you still can live with that. Can't be mad at it. Let me go back to two-wheel drive. It's taking it to the rear-wheel drive mode now, and I can now be on, as much as this is a tar road, but it's one of those that it looks like gravel, or rather feels like gravel. I'm sorry, ma'am, I need to pass. I have places to be. Yeah, you see this road, when I was in it in the Isuzu, I can tell you right now that it feels completely different because of the suspension that is here. It feels completely different because it's very bumpy, this road. And that's why I prefer it sometimes, so that I can feel how bumpy a vehicle is. For some reason, Ford has leaf springs at the back, not in all variants. I think the Wildtrak X and the Raptor are different because obviously you know about the Bilstein and the Fox suspension and stuff. But right now, I feel like for everyday driving, Nissan gives you almost the best comfort, followed by the Ranger. For some reason, as much as the Ranger is on leaf springs, they managed to make it comfortable for everyday driving. The only thing maybe that I have an issue with here is the steering wheel, as I said, compared to the Ranger. But for everyday driving, this gives you, the comfort levels are quite impressive actually. Which reminds me that there's also that P300 that has been tuned right now much better than I've experienced in the LTD for some reason. There is a what? But this Bucky was gonna do it. You know, I'm used to small cars now. I'm even scared of little bumps. Come on, this is a Navara, man. Yeah, I think I was still talking about the P300. You know how we do it here. I was still talking about the P300 to say it impressed me a lot, especially on comfort levels as well. But yeah, I'll give it to the Navara due to the suspension, especially how it feels on gravel road in that case. But hey, this competition is a lot. These days there's a lot of Buckies, and you can't just take your 750,000 rands or so and go and spend it on anything, because there's a lot to think about. The traditional ones, I mean, Navara is always in the top 10 selling Buckies. I mean, the three that we know, of course, in this case, Hilux, D-Max, we have the Ranger. I mean, in October, D-Max was just above the Ranger for some reason. I don't know what happened, but yeah. This normally is around top 5, top 6. And that's where you know that people still love that Nissan element that comes with it. And there's a reason to love it, because it's well spec'd and well priced for this kind of price. I mean, you get the Pro 2X again just around 700, late 700 as well. So from that, it's a 4x2, but a lot of people don't really need 4x4s because they don't go far anyway in making use of these Buckies to, hey, it's hot, man. Auto aircon will do the job in this case. It's hot, yo. I hope it's not too loud for the camera, this thing. So people still love the element that Nissan is bringing. In this case, of course, some grew up wishing to have the Nissan one-toners and all those things. There is still a great population that is also active in the market that prefers this kind of Buckies. So from that, I think, for me, man, I understand why Nissan then still is up there when it comes to the Navara. I've seen that there is a Navara based on the Triton out there. I'm not sure if it's going to come to South Africa, but if I had to choose, I would choose it interior wise only. But when it comes to the exterior, the face card here, gosh, this thing is beautiful, man. This thing looks beautiful. I mean, it is, yeah, it's charming for me. Let me put it like that. It's very beautiful. But there's a lot of beautiful Buckies. I mean, the Ranger is beautiful. D-Max is beautiful as well. So yeah, hey, there's a lot. There's a lot to choose when it comes to competition. Overall, I think the performance, these Buckies, honestly, they're almost equally matched. If you don't find one that can take 1 ton, it's at the back in the load bay, it's mainly because it's a special edition like a Ranger Raptor that takes around 700 kgs and so on. But otherwise, it's mainly around 1 ton or just around there. A lot of people don't even take that much weight. When it comes to the pulling weight, brake 3.5 tons, you can still get that as well. Ground clearance, I think it's just around or just above 220. I know there's Buckies that are more than that, but again, it's not a lot of time that you will go where you find that maybe that ground clearance is not going to be enough for you, because it will have almost the same impact on the approach angle and also the departure angle as well. Angle, not ankle. This corner is a little bit dangerous. Okay, Let's get it on the tar road a little bit. That's 120. Look, this 2.5 liter turbo diesel engine, I love it. And it does what a lot of diesels do. Down low, when you're trying to pick up speed, it makes noise and you feel like something is pulling it back a little bit. But once you are settled and you're on the road, it hits differently, because time to overtake, time to catch up to what's in front of you, completely different. The torque figures are enough to just give you that. I mean, just around 1,500 to 2,000 RPM, and you're trying to overtake and so on, it pulls quite nicely, quite smoothly. Yep, I can't even complain much about it when I'm already on the move, because it's doing everything that you would expect of a 450 Newton meter vehicle. And I love that, because you don't really use a lot of power to actually move these vehicles when it's already on the move on the road like this. That's something that you just need to be aware of. What can I so don't want problems. Okay, done with that. So like I was saying, when I'm already on the move like this, and when you're doing 120, let me just take it up to 120 quickly. Let's settle, take it to gear 7. There you go. 2000 RPM or just below sometimes, depending on the slope. That's what you get when you're doing 120. And hey, man, it's quite impressive for me, because it's not loud. Despite this being on plastic and so on, it doesn't make a lot of noise on the road once it settles down. The road noise, and these tires from Dunlop, they've done a great job, because they're not loud. They're not loud. In fact, I even forget that I'm supposed to have road noise from the tires as well, because they're all-terrain, but you can still get as much comfort as you can. Yes, it's a little bumpy, especially on the open road like this, but it's not tiring. I've had bakkies that are so bumpy that by the time I get to where I need to get to, it feels a little tiring. When it comes to the fuel consumption, let's see, what are we doing? 10.1, yeah. I think it was around 80 liter tank. So yeah, I've been doing 10.1. I haven't been that good to it, because I've been doing a lot of short distance. But because short distance is like that, man, especially if you have bakkie that you want to live with every day, just be aware that you're gonna have to part with some fuel consumption that is a little high, depending on how you drive as well. That matters. But overall, I'm okay with 10. And I've seen that on some drives that I'm doing, it's just around 8 liters. So with that, I can't really complain much, because I know that I've been doing short trips a lot, and it doesn't inform you in terms of what fuel consumption exactly are you getting. If you do long distance, I'm sure this thing can do around 8.1, 8.5, and that's a good return, because this is a heavy bakkie overall. But the nice to haves, again, some stuff, you do get cruise control that is standard in here. You don't get the adaptive one. I don't remember. I don't think the Pro 4X also has the adaptive one. It's tend to be corrected when it comes to that. These LEDs, one of the best, again, some of the best in illumination that I have in the industry from Nissan. I love those as well. Outside, you do get LEDs as standard. Inside right here, like I've indicated, the best thing that you can get is this leather. It feels soft. I think it's real leather. I stand to be corrected, but it does feel like real leather, not necessarily synthetic as well. And this screen, once again, you do get a 6-speaker sound system in here. One thing that is impressive about it, it manages to capture some of that low frequencies quite well. And that's surprising, because I think it's a standard sound system. It's not banging or anything like that, but it does enough to actually enjoy the trip. Together with the road noises and everything else, once you play the sound system, you can reduce a lot of that, and your trip will be quite sufficient. Because when it comes to the seat as well, because you do get some adjustment as a driver, the passengers, man, normally don't feel that tired. I mean, they're not working out here. The adjustments that you're having here are quite enough for you to find a good position for you to actually sit, enjoy yourself on the road, long journeys and so on, because people are gonna do lifestyle stuff with this. Let's play this sound system and hear what is it all about. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. The only thing that I hear right now is just some rattle here on this door panel, but that's because it's plastic. I experienced that also in my vehicle, the Ford Fiesta, because when the sound system is a bit powerful and you have plastic beats, it's always gonna do that. But overall, it's clean. It diminishes almost everything from outside and you can hear it clearly. I'm actually impressed with what they've done here overall, especially with the kind of insulation that's here. Having done that with all the plastics that are on the vehicle, that's quite impressive. So now, where do I place this? Because there's just a lot of packers and they come with specific stuff that they offer in this case. I mean, there's a cohort from Chinese that is coming in and it's offering so much as well that it's scary that you ask yourself, how can these vehicles do all this stuff and also still be priced so competitively? That's the scary thing about it. One thing is Nissan forms part of the traditional brands when it comes to the bakkies, and as a result, you'd ask yourself, when would one choose Nissan over other bakkies? For me, number one, the love for the brand. I know that when it comes to this, loyalty matters. And then number two, if you don't want something that is overly tech, what is this tech? It can't be tech savvy, right? But just having a plethora of technology that you don't necessarily need in a bakkie, it might just be something that you consider, because all these bakkies offer almost the same thing. I've seen people taking these things on top of dunes and all these things and arguing and stuff. I just think it has to do with the drivers, because these bakkies, especially at this price point, they offer almost the same. So for me, I think I love the Fords because of how they drive overall, and because of that, if I have to choose anything based on the fact that I know that it's durable, I'm proudly South African at the same time as well, I would probably go for this after the Everest. And that's precisely because the Toyota right now, unless the new one comes and it convinces me, I feel like, yeah, it also needs a little bit of refresh. I don't know if the suspension is better now for everyday driving as well. People love it for obvious reasons, but looking at the traditional ones, the Isuzu is a little bit too hard for everyday driving, and it's good looking. It is capable. So I can't really break it out to say this is outright better than any of the others. Preference matters in this case. So from that perspective, guys, that's just how I see these bakkies. With that said, I think just go out there, choose the one that you like for whatever reason. I don't think you'll go wrong, especially between Toyota, Isuzu, what is the other one now that I'm forgetting in this case, the Ford, and this one. Of course, there's Mahindras and everything else that you can also get. Great value for money as well. But if you're looking for something highest price and stuff, especially around 800 and so on, you're almost going to get similar stuff in terms of the pricing until you get to the millions and so on. With that said, guys, been talking for quite some time now. I am out.